Welcome in Focus on Stafford County.
Okay.
Brant Daughtry here with Ryan Russell. And Ryan, last time you were in here, we spoke about the biggest thing that you had was there's a new commercial kitchen at Equity Bank. And you said that was about to get up and running. Do you have it up and running now?
No, we just signed the lease this last month with Equity Bank. We have a lot of equipment. We're going to renovate the space a little bit, so it's going to be usable for more of a bigger, more dedicated space for commercial kitchen. Our old commercial kitchen area was in the annex, and it was a great space. It was a little small, couldn't do a lot with it, so we're hoping that this new space will have more options, and it's going to be right on the square in St. John, so people can access it, and there'll be an outdoor access. But you're going to have to give me a few months. I'm going to have to renovate it, and we're writing a couple grants here soon to get some funding for that. So we should probably in 4 or 5 months we'll have it up and running and going. So I just wanted to let people know that that's the community space, and Equity Bank is where we're going to do it. And we'll be able to host classes there on food businesses and offer some other stuff there as well for people that want to use the kitchen.
So a little more centrally located, a little more accessibility, a bigger space to operate, just an upgrade in just about every way.
Yeah. And we'll be able to book. People could book a half a day, a full day. We'll maybe have some other options as well. Once we get things rolling, we'll start ramping up and getting the services out there for people to use it to do for their businesses. So
what are all of those services going to be?
Well, we're hoping to do offer online marketing, and also getting people to sell their food products online. So one of the benefits of having a commercial kitchen is you don't have to be present to sell your products. If they do like cottage industry in their home, they have to be present to sell their products. And so in a commercial kitchen that's licensed, they can actually sell in different ways, like put it in a store or sell online. And so I'm trying to make people think like a little more broad from just the farmers markets and also locally, but to think about how they can ship food across state lines or within the state. And so we'll be offering services to help them understand how to do that. And we'll have some classes. We'll do canning classes and some specific making bread classes, things like that. We have kind of in the pipeline. We're going to do that.
And so you're letting independent businesses kind of utilize this space for their storefront, their online storefront.
Yeah. It'll be a space where they can like make the food and also do packaging and some stuff like that. And then we'll be helping them understand how they can sell their food themselves. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So other things happening in Stafford County, you said the Kansas Main Street development's underway. What's happening on Main Street?
Yeah, so Kansas Main Street is a state and national program. So there's Main Street America, which is a national program, and then there's a Kansas Main Street program. And so there's designated programs, so people can then apply for grants, but also it's about kind of developing your Main Street area, having like standards and different aspects. We'll have different committees. There's 4 different committees: promotion, design, organization, and I always forget the 4th one. But there's going to be 4 committees. We're kind of organizing now. I went to Junction City recently to do the quarterly training that they offer. And so I have to go to that quarterly to go through that. We have St. John and Stafford both signed up as part of our county-wide Main Street. We're the first of like 3 different counties that are doing a county-wide Main Street pilot program in the state of Kansas. And so we're developing that out. I have a meeting this afternoon, actually, with the two city managers from one from St. John, one from Stafford, to go over kind of reporting requirements for Kansas Main Street. So we're getting things organized. We'll be contacting people to get on committees and stuff like that. And so in the next couple months, we should be organized.
And you said the point of the program is to kind of just keep whatever the town's Main Street is kind of up to code and make sure it's safe and make it attractive to businesses.
Yeah, one of the issues with a lot of small towns is that there are no ordinances and there's no codes. And so there are codes and ordinances in different aspects in different areas of the town, but there's issues with like, occupancy of the buildings, use of the buildings. Some cities have like a requirement that you have to be open a certain number of hours a day. So it requires people to actually have an occupant in their building so they can do that. There's some other standards of like what the front of your building should look like. Then there's also like, instead of just having rules, there's also like the carrot instead of the stick, So there's also going to be money accessible for like fixing the facade. There's some other grants for like renovating like the second story into an apartment as an idea, as a possibility. And so there's a lot of different things that we can do with this. And so it's more like, focusing our main streets to be able to get them thriving again, getting people in them, doing events around the Main Street area to bring them down. You guys have a Kansas Main Street here in Gray Bend. You guys do I think it's the first Fridays.
It's the last Friday.
Oh,
it's last Friday of every month.
Forget
This
that.
is upcoming Friday.
Yeah.
Fridays in Forest.
Friday. Yeah, Fridays in Forest. You have a Main Street program as well as a historic district. So Forest is like a historic district, and that we're going to be planning to do that as well in Stafford and maybe St. John. We haven't decided yet, but Stafford is going to have a registered historic district, and so we're going to use the program of the historic district plus the Kansas Main Street program, plus another thing I'm going to talk about is the certified local government. We're going to build on these programs to be able to like get funding in to our county and our cities to be able to do renovations of buildings, get occupancy in the buildings, and get businesses thriving again.
Well, we call that a teaser in the business. You mentioned certified local government.
Yeah.
We've got to take our first break of the show.
Okay.
When we come back, that will be the next thing we talk about. You're listening to Focus on Stafford County, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Welcome back in. Focus on Stafford County here on your Thursday. Brant Daughtry here with Ryan Russell, Director of Economic Development for Stafford County. We went to break talking about the Kansas Main Street developments and how that's going to tie into local government. You brought up certified local government developments.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the certified local government is a designation of creating like a historical commission and ordinances for historically registered buildings. And I want to reiterate this. People will ask me this probably 1,000 times, but this is not for all the buildings. It's just for historically registered buildings. So if we do a district, it'll be for the district buildings that are contributing to the historic district. It'll be for other buildings. Like, so in Stafford, we have the Methodist Church, the Nora Larrabee Library, the old bank building that is on the Broadway in Maine, right there, where the Stafford County Historical Society is, right there. That building is also registered, and then the Gray's Gray's Photo Studio in St. John is also registered. So we have a number of registered buildings in the county, and so these ordinances would be for those, and I've written them already, and our county zoning is looking over them right now. And we're going to be talking in the next couple of weeks about kind of finalizing those. And then they'll be, the process is basically, they'll go before the commissioners because it'll be a county-wide CLG. And the commissioners will have to approve them with the zoning commission. Then I'll have 5 members on the commission, and I have to submit those people's names and their qualifications to the commissioners to be accepted. And then we'll do a contract with State Historic Preservation Office, and then we'll have a contract with them, and then we'll have it formed, and then we will operate. So the operation will look like we'll be registering buildings or districts. We'll be doing surveys. We'll be writing grants for like building renovations. So there's all this funding that the federal government sets aside for CLGs. That is 10% of all historic funding is only for CLGs. So there's money just sitting there waiting to be grasped. And so
you're going to reach a fist out, huh?
I'm reaching a fist out. Yeah. So we have to do some stuff to get this money. So, and we have to operate this certified local government, and there's people that want to do this and there's people that want to participate. So it's going to be a good thing. and we'll be able to protect the assets in our communities that are historic in nature. And then those buildings can be preserved, but also those buildings can have access to funding to be renovated and kept up and that sort of thing. And we'll get businesses in those buildings. We'll be doing some different stuff. Now, not all the historic buildings are going to be like businesses in them or whatever. Obviously, we have a church and the county museum is in a building and stuff like that. But there's going to be other buildings like in the historic district that will be able to access this funding and be able to do that, and some other buildings that we're going to register. So we're at the beginning stages. I know people probably have been like, Ryan, you've been talking about this for like 7 months. Yeah, this stuff takes a long time to develop. And so I just want people to know that I've written the ordinances. We're moving forward. I'm talking with the zoning board about this. These ordinances, it's a 22-page document, okay, that was created. So this can't be created overnight, and have to check other people's, what they're doing and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're doing, and we're going to be accessing funding to be able to dump into these renovations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the historic designation does for these buildings, but it sounds like it offers funds, it offers protection, and it kind of just highlights them and makes them kind of protected in a way.
Yeah, it protects them. There's, I don't want to get too into nerdiness, but there's the Secretary of Interior Standards, and so there's a body that determines the proper way of protecting buildings and construction. So what your facade should look like and how you should do it properly, how some of the interiors are done, how to do it properly, the roof, depending on the type of building and stuff like that, and then how to upkeep them and stuff like that. So there are standards, and you have to follow those standards. But to follow those standards, you get money. So it's kind of a win-win. You get to preserve the building in the great state that it originally was in. Plus, you get funding to actually do it, and so
you're getting rewarded for that effort, and that effort makes the building more attractive.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's move along here. Child Care Zones Grant. I love talking about grants on this show. Everyone is always happy when they get a grant. What is the Child Care Zones Grant?
So the Child Care Zones is funding where you have to partner with another county to operate to do different child care activities. So we're in partnership with Rice County. We haven't signed the grant contract yet, so I just want to let people know that it's going to be it'll take a little time.
Sure.
We've had our budget approved. We are moving things forward. We've been awarded, but it's $250,000, and it's quite a bit of money. And our activities will include promoting some aspects of tax credits for businesses to helping their employees get childcare. We're going to be doing developing some in-school pathway programs for early childhood education to help with the sub-pool kids that want to go into childcare or in early childhood education. And then we're also going to be supporting some in-school pilot programs, so like having daycares in the schools. Stafford already has a daycare, so we're kind of going to be using them as kind of like the example of what they're doing, and maybe hopefully do that in other locations. Potentially Maxville, we're going to be building a daycare, which is separate from this funding. We have other funding for that. We're going to be building a daycare, and I'm hoping we'll see. I'm hoping that they'll manage the daycare. And so we'll have some funding for them to be able to do that as well. And so, it's a 1-year program. We're sharing the funding with Rice County, and we're going to be sharing also knowledge with each other. So we're going to take some people from Stafford County to Rice County to talk to them about in-school daycares and pathways and stuff like that. They're going to come over and help us with some of the business tax credit stuff and some other things. And so it's kind of like share your knowledge and then spread the news of how to do this properly or what you should or shouldn't do and stuff like that. And so the state's really looking for solutions for childcare, and it's difficult to maintain these daycares sometimes, but we're trying to do that.
I really love the idea of, we want to provide this funding, we want to provide this help, But at the same time, these local people know what works here. They know how to make this thing work, and so they're letting the community help the community.
Yeah, and it's the what's great about this grant is that they wanted us to come up with solutions, and they would fund the solutions. So it wasn't defined like, oh, you have to do it this way or you have to do that way. So in a great way is like I was able to talk to Rice County people and kind of coordinate with them and kind of come up with these solutions together. And then we're going to be, sharing knowledge between each other and working together on this.
I love that. I love collaboration.
Yeah.
And that helps everybody out.
Yep.
All right. We've got to take our final break of the show. You're listening to Focus on Stafford County live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Welcome back. Focus on Stafford County here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Brant Daughtry in the captain's chair, joined by Ryan Russell. And Ryan, we're just going everything that's happening in Stafford County right now. And the next thing up that you said you wanted to talk about, there are solar companies to enter Stafford County. Is that new forms of energy?
It is for us, I guess. Not new forms of energy for everybody. But it's still early days on this as well. The zoning is finalizing ordinances for solar. We didn't have solar ordinances before. And I think a lot of counties didn't have them as well. And there's mixed feelings about these projects, taking, farmland away or, there's a lot of opinions on whether it's good or bad or whatever. What I think it will be good is it'll increase the tax base, of the county. And so, once the ordinances get finalized, which they're going to be finalized in the next month, I think, the two solar companies that I know of have been discussing coming in, and I think they've already secured land leases and stuff like that. And those projects will probably go forward, but it'll take time. They'll apply for their conditional use permits and maybe get those approved by like December or January. And then they can then move forward with the project of building it and stuff like that. So both companies I've talked to extensively. I won't mention their name right now because it's still up in the air if they're going to move forward. But I think it's a really good thing for our county. They're not humongous projects, so they're not like these. You've seen probably solar projects that are gigantic. They're not huge projects. They're also not super small either. So they will, basically what will happen is they'll change the ag land conditionally to commercial. So it'll be a conditionally commercial, designation, which will increase the tax on the property. And so then it'll, add to the tax base to our county. I think that's one of the biggest elements of it. Solar is great. I think there's going to be some other money coming from it as well. From those companies. But all of that has to be approved by the zoning and then also by the commissioners as well. But I have a lot of hope in that, and I think it's going to be a positive thing overall.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, you're bringing business into Stafford County, you're increasing the tax base. That helps everybody, and hopefully it can help out with just energy, right? I mean, this is clean, it's renewable, it's all good news.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good, I think.
And the last thing you wanted to speak about today, the CDBG project. I don't know what those four letters mean. Why don't you tell me?
Yeah. So CDBG is a grant program. It's Community Development Block Grant. So that's what that means, Community Development Block Grant. So all these programs have acronyms because the wording is so long. So the Hoods Haven building is St. John people know that building. It's called Hoods Haven. We were approved for a project of a little over $400,000 to renovate that building. The grant money is around $300,000. We are getting close to the bid stage. So I think in the next couple of weeks, there will be bid packets go out and then contractors can bid on the project. So we will be, I'll be posting that everywhere. I'll be putting it in the news. I'll be putting it all over the place. But we really would like contractors to be able to bid on that. you can contact my office if you have questions about that, or the city office in St. John, city office. And then the big thing is that this project requires BABA, which is Build America. So it's Build America, Buy America. So almost all the products that are used in the project have to be purchased by American made, be American made. And so there's credentials required for that. And so if you don't know anything about that, please look it up. If you're a contractor, please call me and ask about it. I can help you. I can give you a list of things and kind of also talk you through that. We also have other people that can talk to you as well. So we want the contract to be given to local contractors. So all your local contractors in Stafford County, give me a call and we can work on it. I've actually texted a bunch of them and said, hey, have you heard of BABA before? And they're like, what's that? So I know that it's going to be a kind of a struggle for a lot of contractors that don't really know much about it, that they need to look into it a little bit. But it's a good project. We'd like to work with locals on that. But if not, we'll have to work with other people. So just let you guys know, we will work with who can meet the criteria of the grant.
You'll find somebody to meet the contract.
We will find somebody that meets the contract, and we'll do our extra hard work to try to figure out how to do it locally.
What's the goal of the project?
So Wyckoff Construction purchased the building from us for the purpose of putting their offices and meeting space in the back part, and then the front part will be retail. And his Tyler's partner, she has been selling clothing online, and she's going to get some different brands that require a physical space, and then they're going to put those brands there. It's going to be like farm work clothing, outdoor work clothing,
kind of like the rugged,
kind of ruggedy.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a rugged worker, so I don't really know what it's called. So I'm just a keyboard warrior. So that's it.
I like that. I mean, I guess technically me too. I'm sitting over here behind my 3 computer screens. I've got the microphone and I'm running this board, right? But like you said, this is a big deal, and you want to use local contractors, but the local contractors have to come to you and they have to meet the standards.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And we don't make the standards. It's a federal funding program.
Right.
So the federal government's making the standards. So if we use somebody outside of the county, it's because the people in the county don't meet the standards or they don't give a bid. So I just want to let people know that. Because we get a lot of comments like, oh, why didn't you use a local contractor? Why didn't you use a person from this town or that town? It's like, because they didn't bid. It's not because they didn't know about it. They just didn't bid. So, or they couldn't. Or they were too busy. Some of them are just too busy and they just can't do it.
They have other business and can't catch up to this.
Yeah.
So that is what's going on in Stafford County. And do you know when the bids will go out for that?
It's going to be a few weeks from now. I don't know exactly because I think they need to make sure that the bid documents are correct to meet the requirements of the grant. So they have to do it's got to all be.
It's got to be reviewed by you, and then you have to ship it to federal and go, hey, here's how.
Well, I'm not even putting the bid documents together. Our architects are.
Okay.
And then we have a grant writer that's she's the one kind of managing the project.
She's taking care of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got to go through a bunch of hands, but it will get through those hands.
Yeah.
It'll
be a couple weeks. It'll be a couple weeks.
Okay.
It should sometime the middle of October. There should be bids out.
Ryan, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, it was good to see you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll email you this recording as soon as we get off the air.
Okay, great. Thanks, I appreciate it.
This has been Focus on Stafford County. Big thanks to Ryan Russell for coming in. Stick around. We have what's next. We've got the KVGB Noon Report coming up here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.